What's up, crypto fam? Welcome back to another Bitcoin Top 10 past 24 hours for November 9th. As always, links will be in the description, as well as 10% off crypto displays and a link to my coin tree with everything else over there. Number 10. Make your own center punch metal Bitcoin seed storage. That was a mouthful. Is there sound? Because I'm not hearing anything. Nope. No sound. Hold on. Is that like the first word? I'm so confused here. And it looks like Braille. I'm just saying. I don't know. Number 9. Daily discussion. This is just the general daily discussion on Reddit for Bitcoin stuff. You want to talk about stuff, go ahead and talk about it here. This guy's talking about GBTC now holds more than almost 500,000 Bitcoin. People need to stop selling them because they are getting a bit too big. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So anyway, on to number 8. JP Morgan saying institutions ditching gold ETFs for Bitcoin. The big news to start off the week, Bitcoin and JP Morgan, everyone wants to join the party. Is it caps lock day already? No. Bad. Alright, number 7. Bond investor Bill Miller. Everybody's going to want to own some Bitcoin November 6, 2020. So now we do have a video. Let's see what we got. I'll probably have to cut this out.
To quote your line here, that gold should provide solid returns in Bitcoin, perhaps stellar ones. Now, I know you've been a believer in Bitcoin for a
stellar
while here,
returns.
But it's been impressive to look at its
even though I'm doing commentary on this, and I'm like, whatever, but they're still gonna...
Why does Bitcoin just trade like a high beta stock? And, you know, what would your explanation be for people as to why they'd want to be in these couple of areas?
You know, some of the great investors of our time, Stan Druckenmiller, Paul Tudor Jones, are gold bulls, and many people are, if not gold bulls, they at least believe that that inflation it's possible inflation comes back with the Fed trying to gun the money supply.
Possible? You mean?
And with great fiscal stimulus, or more fiscal stimulus. I think it's reasonable to own gold. Gold's done very well this year. I think silver's a better bet than gold. It's a higher beta version of gold. And the gold-silver ratio would tell you want to own silver. But I think, you know, with respect to Bitcoin, I just make a little emendation to what you said, Kelly, which is that it's been a great month for Bitcoin, but it's also been a great year to date, 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years. And then Bitcoin's inception was 12 years ago. And it's been the single best performing asset category in every one of those periods. So,
ever. Yeah.
Not that it hasn't had a bad time, but it went from, you know, nearly 20,000 down to in the $3,000 to $4,000 range. So it's been very volatile. But I think right now that its staying power gets better every day. I think the risks of Bitcoin going to zero are much lower than they've ever been before.
Yeah, that's very true.
You're getting greater adoption. I mean, you know, MicroStrategy put half their cash, $400 million, into Bitcoin. PayPal announced that they're going to make Bitcoin. People can buy Bitcoin, and you can use it. You can use it at all their vendors. Square had,
I haven't seen that yet.
Numbers yesterday.
They're just letting people buy it and sell it. That's it.
Demand for Bitcoin.
Can't move it.
And the Bitcoin story is
fact check.
very easy, which is that it's supply demand. It's economics. You know, not 101, it's 0.01, which is that Bitcoin's supply is growing around 2.5% a year. And the demand is growing faster than that, and there's going to be a fixed number of them.
Yeah.
So I think every major bank,
that's a good point.
Bank, every major high net worth firm is going to eventually have some exposure to Bitcoin or what's like it, which is gold or some kind of commodities. I did see a thing that the chief investment officer of Brown University, you know, endowments tend to move slowly out there. And I'm on the investment committee at Johns Hopkins, and it's, you know, we have a great CIO, but we don't own any Bitcoin, and we may never own Bitcoin. But what she said was that she thought that because of its asymmetric properties, that that everybody is going to want to own at least some Bitcoin. So I think that that's, you know, for a college endowment, that's
Yeah.
a bold statement.
So that's interesting. Let's see if I had to cut that out. Number 6, Bitcoin now has a higher market cap and is more valuable than the Russian ruble. Yeah, we saw that the other day. Bitcoin's like the number 6 fiat currency of the world. Like, it's insane. Fiat market cap. What is this? Let's check out this guy. Oh yeah, does this include the companies and everything too? Because that would be interesting. Your link does not compute. All right. Number 5, the Bitcoin Whitepaper. If you haven't read it, now is the time. Bitcoin.org/bitcoin.pdf. Secondary, the Bitcoin Whitepaper is surprisingly accessible, and it's a great primer. If you can't be bothered to read, but you still want to learn a bit, I always have been fond of this video explainer. Huh, so there's a video explainer. You know, maybe I should do a live stream where I read the Bitcoin white paper, like, on a live stream. That would be really interesting, like the full thing, because I've only read like the first, you know, like paragraph or two. Number 4, I strongly recommend buying Bitcoin at current prices. Legendary investors, Bill Miller, 11/6/2020. So this is probably the same video. This is just a link to it. It's not embed, so we've already seen it. Number 3, how I bought 1 Bitcoin, making $15 an hour after 2 years. Oh my goodness, how long is this? We got it all started, and then we got the key method. So we're gonna read this part. Dollar cost averaging. This is the key. Every single week I got paid. It was only about $500 a week since I lived with my mom and only paid half rent. Every 2 weeks I got paid. I would buy exactly 0.1 Bitcoin. Put another way, I bought 1% of every Bitcoin of a Bitcoin every 2 weeks. Regardless of the price, I would invest. Since 2018 was a bear market, it was getting cheaper and cheaper every single week. When it was 3,000, it was so cheap that 0.01 BTC was like $30 or $40 a piece, so I bought like 3 or 4%. Every 2 weeks, since there's 52 weeks in a year, by the time 2019 rolled around, I already had roughly 65% of a Bitcoin. 2019 was half bear and half bull, blah, blah, blah. Now, so basically, now by the time 2020 rolled around, I had exactly 97% of a Bitcoin. It was only this year that I had finally gotten to 1 Bitcoin. I heard Charlie Lee say a long time ago to stay away from altcoins until you have 1 Bitcoin, and that is exactly what I did. After the pandemic started, I started buying Ethereum, 0.2 ETH, a paycheck, and now I have multiple ETH. I just wanted to tell my story of how I got 1 Bitcoin and hopefully inspire others to get invested. I don't know if I did was luck or skill, but the key thing is to stay consistent. If you water a plant every single day, eventually you will get the fruit. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. Number 2, we got talked to the wife into buying 1 Bitcoin. We're in the process of selling our home and downsizing a bit in a new city. We talked to our realtor and estimate getting about $52K back, which will of course use for paying off debts and such. After all is done, we should still have about $25K left for savings. I showed her this year's performance and how more and more classic financial institutions are turning to Bitcoin as investment. She loved the idea and asked how we could invest part of the profit long term. Looks like we'll be purchasing a full Bitcoin once we're all set and hold it long term, much different than my normal I think he meant DCA method there, but it's going to feel so good to have real skin in the game. What? Why is this, the awesome award? Highlight comments that are absolutely adorable. Hold her. Yeah, that was a pretty good one. All right, and our number 1, we got Win Lambo Retro Style Final Edition. All right. I still want to see one with a Supra. I might have to make one. Anyway, that's it for the Our Bitcoin Top 10 past 24 hours. As always, links are in the description, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff. Check it out. Peace, love, and hodl.